Support? Today we are talking about a divorce that has officially gone from quiet, respectful separation to full-scale courtroom chaos. What started as polite public statements and, we're focusing on the kids' language, has now turned into accusations, receipts, court filings, and one explosive question that people can't stop asking. How is one parent claiming to do everything while the other is accused of doing nothing, all while living rent-free on the same property? At the center of this storm are Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker, and based on what's coming out in these filings, this is no longer about growing apart. This is about money. This is about control. This is about custody. And most importantly, this is about who is really carrying the weight when it comes to the children. Because one thing is very clear. Somebody is lying, somebody is exaggerating, or somebody has been letting another grown adult live very comfortably while handling all the responsibility alone. Let's rewind. When the divorce filing first became public, the tone was calm. No cheating allegations, no screaming interviews, no explosive tell-alls. Just two adults saying they were committed to co-parenting and doing what's best for their kids. But as we've seen time and time again, court documents tell the truth, that Instagram captions don't. Once temporary motions were filed, the narrative shifted completely. Suddenly, both sides were saying the same thing in different ways. I am the one doing everything. According to Kandi, she has been financially carrying this household for a long time. In her filings, she lays out a detailed list of expenses that she claims she has been paying alone. Private school tuition, extracurricular activities, tutoring, uniforms, supplies, birthday parties, travel, medical care, and a full-time live-in caregiver. Her argument is simple. These aren't luxury expenses. These are necessities. And she says Todd has been benefiting from the lifestyle without contributing to it. Now here's where the internet tried to drag her. People saw that she was working in New York and immediately jumped to conclusions. They said she was absent. They said she chose Broadway over her kids. They said she wasn't present. But in her filings, Kandi directly addresses that narrative and shuts it down. She explains that this is a limited Broadway engagement, not a relocation. She says she flew back consistently, managed the kids' schedules, handled medical and school decisions, and paid for full-time childcare while she worked out of state. Her message is very clear. Working does not make her absent. It makes her responsible. And that caregiver, that part is critical. According to Kandi, while she was working, she personally paid for a live-in caregiver who handled the day-to-day care of the children. School pickups, meals, homework, bedtime, transportation, daily routines, everything. This was not occasional help. This was full-time, consistent support. And here's where things get uncomfortable. Because while this caregiver was doing the work, Todd was living on the same property, in the guest house, without paying for maintenance, utilities, lawn care, pest control, water, gas, or even the alarm system. Let that sink in. Separated. Living on her premarital property, in the guest house, paying nothing. Coming and going freely. Using the main kitchen, eating the food, enjoying the comfort, but according to her filings, not contributing financially. Now Todd tells a very different story. In his response, he claims that he has acted as the primary custodial parent. He says he has been consistently present in Georgia while Kandi worked out of state. He argues that he has provided daily care, supervision, and stability. He even goes as far as requesting temporary primary physical custody with final decision-making authority. That's not a small claim. But then the details start to matter. In one section, Todd admits that routine monthly expenses exist, but he carefully refers to the minor child, not the minor children. That wording did not go unnoticed. He denies the remaining allegations and suggests that court intervention is needed to prevent parenting time from being dictated by Kandi's work schedule. Kandi responds sharply. She says Todd does not support the children financially on a consistent basis. She states plainly that he has not paid private school tuition, uniforms, textbooks, supplies, or enrollment fees. Not once. She says she pays 100% of extracurricular activities: jiu-jitsu, chess club, basketball, Mandarin tutoring, English tutoring, dance, all of it. And then she addresses the birthdays. Since the divorce filing, the children had 2 birthday parties. Todd attended both, But according to Kandi, he refused to contribute financially to either party, despite being asked. This is where perception collides with reality. Because for years, the public perception has been that Kandi was the provider, the breadwinner, the one holding it all down. And now, in black and white, she's saying that dynamic never changed, even when the marriage ended. But the moment Todd sought child support, everything shifted. Suddenly, she wasn't willing to quietly cover everything anymore. Suddenly the receipts came out. Suddenly the generosity had limits. And that guest house, according to the filings, Todd has been residing there since the separation. The property was purchased before the marriage. He has not paid any expenses tied to maintaining it. Not utilities, not lawn care, not security, nothing. Meanwhile, the children live in the main home, and Kandi says he is not the primary custodian, despite what he has portrayed publicly and legally. She claims his involvement has been limited, driving the kids to school occasionally, participating in bedtime routines only when he chooses to be there, transporting one child to basketball practice weekly. And while she worked in New York, Todd traveled internationally. The Bahamas, business ventures, promotional tours, trips that kept him away, including during December, when he allegedly missed school holiday performances while knowing she would not be there. That detail matters, because you can't argue absence on one hand while traveling freely on the other. Kandi also points out that when the children traveled to New York to see her, Todd did not fly with them. The caregiver did. He arrived days later and stayed briefly. So the question becomes unavoidable. If a full-time caregiver is handling daily care, if one parent is paying all expenses, if the other parent is living rent-free, if travel is happening on both sides, then who is really doing the work? And who is benefiting from the narrative? This case is no longer about who loves the kids. Both parents clearly do. This is about responsibility versus perception, about money versus presence, about who shows up when nobody is watching. And the court will have to decide. But for the public watching this unfold, one thing is clear. This is not a clean split. This is not mutual understanding. This is a power struggle, a battle over control, a battle over finances, a battle over who gets to define the truth. And at the center of it all are two children who deserve stability, not silence, not spin, not strategy. So now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Todd was really the primary caregiver? Or do you believe the caregiver did the heavy lifting? Was Kandi wrong for covering everything, or wrong for stopping? And should someone living in a guest house, paying nothing, really be asking for child support? Drop your thoughts below.